Hello students. In today class we will study about the pharmacognostic features of digitalis, which is a cardiotonic drug and it's belong to glycoside category. So first is the synonym of this drug. It is commonly known as the digitalis, purple, foxglove, finger flowers, lady glove, foxglove leaves, folia digitalis. And if you see the biological source of these drugs, it is commonly consist dried leaves of digitalis purpurea belonging to family Scrophulariaceae. Okay, botanical name of this plant is the digitalis purpurea and family is the Scrophulariaceae. And some allied species of digitalis is also there, that is digitalis lanata. The botanical name of that species is digitalis lanata, but in today class we will focus only about the digitalis purpurea. And geographically it is mainly found in the England, Germany, France, North America, India, Iraq, Japan, Kurdistan, Mexico, Nepal, Spain and Turkey. So it is all about the biological source, geographical source of digitalis. Next is the cultivations of the drug. So it require well trained loose soils and mainly it should be siliceous origins, or the pH of the soils should be 5.5 to 6.5, whereas it require rainfall about 30 to 40 centimeter per annum, and temperature should be 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. And normally seed propagations method is prefer for the cultivations of this drug. And during the month of March and April, seeds are sown in the nursery bed, and when seedlings are prepared, after few times they should be transplanted in the agriculture land, and this process should be carried out in the month of September or November. And the leaves should be collected during the month of August and September in the first and second year of the maturity of the flower. So we can say that after 1 year or 2 years we can collect the leaves, and this process would be carried out in the month of August and September. And another thing is that during the collections we should prefer the dry weather. There should not be moisture, because due to moisture content which if present in the drugs, it will deteriorate the glycosides which is present in the drugs and which is responsible for the therapeutic activity. It will deteriorate. That's why drying weather should be preferred, and moisture content ideally should not be not more than 5%. So you can see here that I written here that dried leaves moisture content should not more than 5%, should be packed into airtight containers with suitable dehydrating agent. So that's why we are saying that the dry weather should be selected during the collections of the drug, and after collections the leaves should immediately sent to the drying centers, and they will dry in the vacuum dryers. And there should be temperature below 60 degrees Celsius, because if temperature will rise more than 60%, the phytoconstituents will degrade, and we will not get the drugs of required quality. That's why the temperature should be below 60 degrees Celsius under the process of the drying. And we always have to consider this thing that the moisture content of the drug should not be more than the 5%. And if moisture is present, that's I already said that because of moistures and the enzymes may be purpuridase and oxidase. The name of enzymes are purpuridase and oxidase, which will cause the deteriorations of the glycosides. So these complete or prepared leaves for the market should be free from the moistures and free from the enzymes, because of the enzymatic hydrolysis it will degrade And now is the macroscopic characters of the drug. So we can see the color is dark grayish green, odor will be slight, taste will be bitter, and about the length is about 10 to 40 centimeters, and whereas 4 to 20 centimeter it will be wide. And if we talk about the shape of the leaves, it may be ovate or lanceolate type, and margin is the crenate or sometime dentate. So you can see here the margin of the leaves, it is the dentate type, just like a teeth. Dentate, it is similar to teeth, sometimes it may like teeth, and this is the crenate, or we can say also that the serrate type of margins is there. And you can see in this picture, and this portion is the apex, this is the base, and this one is the margin, and this one is the midrib. And leaves are slightly pubescent on both surface. Pubescent means it have the some hairs on the both the surface of the leaf, that term is known as the pubescent. And if you see the microscopic characters of the drug, so if you observe under the microscope, you will find that there is two surface, one is upper epidermis and second one is the lower epidermis. So we can say that the this leaf, digitalis leaf, is dorsiventral in nature. Dorsiventral means when the upper and lower structures are the different, at that condition it is known as the dorsiventral. So here you can see that on the upper epidermis there is the palisade layer. You can see that single palisade layer is there, and whereas in lower epidermis there is no palisade layer. There are the group of collenchyma. Collenchymas are present. So upper and lower epidermis, and after epidermis there is the spongy parenchyma regions. And if we talk about the type of stomata which is present on the drug, it is anomocytic, or we can say that the ranunculaceous type of stomata is present. It means that anomocytic stomata means when the stoma is surrounded by the various number of the epidermal cells. At that conditions it is known as the anomocytic stomata or ranunculaceous type of stomata. And these stomata may be present on the upper as well as lower epidermis, but in compared to the upper epidermis they are more in the lower epidermis. And another is the some trichomes are also present. So covering as well as the glandular, both the trichomes are present in the sample. You can see that these are the covering trichomes. These long ones are the covering trichomes, and these covering trichomes are uniseriate and multicellular. They may be uniseriate and multicellular. Whereas if we talk about the glandular trichomes, so you can see here that these smalls are the glandular trichomes. So these glandular trichomes are with the unicellular stalk and unicellular or bicellular head. So you can see here that this one is the stalk portions and this one is the head portion. So what he is saying that these glandular trichomes may be unicellular or bicellular. Now here you can see that two heads are there in glandular trichomes, so it is the bicellular glandular trichomes. And where you are seeing that only one head is present, that is known as the unicellular head or unicellular glandular trichomes. So we can say that there is the two type of trichomes. First one is the glandular trichomes and second one is the covering trichomes. And if you see the part of covering trichomes, it consists the apex, body and base. Three parts of their apex, body and base. Whereas glandular trichome consists the head and stalk. So about these all trichomes we have already discussed in the evaluations of the crude drug, where we studied about the microscopic evaluations. In that topic we already has been covered, and if anybody have the confusion about these terms, so they can refer that topic to find out the what is glandular trichomes, what is covering trichomes, and how many types of covering trichomes and glandular trichomes may be there. So now the collapsed cells covering trichomes is an important feature. So yeah, in this diagram you are also seeing that in compared to glandular trichome, there are more number of the covering trichomes which are collapsed. Collapsed means they are mixing with each other, so there may be the group of the covering trichomes. So collapsed cell covering trichome is an important features of the digitalis. Normally calcium oxalate crystals and sclerenchymatous cells are absent in the TS of the drug, and starch grains are present in the epidermis, endodermis. And here you can see that in inner part, that is the endodermis, and below endodermis there is the arrangement of the xylem and phloem, and like this, and this one is the spongy parenchyma. So important features of microscopy of this drug is that you have to remember always that the type of stomata which is present in digitalis, it is anomocytic, or we can say that the ranunculaceous type of stomata. Second one is the in digitalis there are two type of trichomes are present. First one is the covering trichome, second one is the glandular trichomes. And calcium oxalate crystals and sclerenchymatous cells are absent. Starch grains may be present in the endodermis. So it is all about the microscopic features of digitalis. Next is the chemical constituent. So normally leaves of digitalis consist primary and secondary glycosides, which is known as the cardenolides, and the concentrations of these mixtures may be 0.2 to 0.45% is there. And here I am using the term cardenolides. So if you see that cardenolides are the phytoconstituents which consist the 5-membered ring, whereas second term is bufadinolide which consists the 6-membered ring in their moiety at the 17th positions. We will see the structures ahead in next slide. So we can say that it consists the cardenolides which are which consist the mixtures of the primary and secondary glycosides, and the concentrations of the glycosides will be 0.2 to 0.45%. So purpurea glycosides A and B and glucogitoloxins are the primary glycosides. And because of the greater stability of the secondary glycosides and lesser absorptions of primary glycosides, a higher content of primary glycosides are not considered as an ideal, and secondary glycosides are used. So in primary and secondary primary and secondary glycosides, or these are basically metabolites, but if we compare between the primary and secondary, so secondary glycosides are more useful in compared to primary glycosides, because they are stable and the absorptions of primary glycoside is lesser in compared to the higher in compared to the secondary glycoside. Lesser absorptions of the primary glycoside, a higher content of a primary glycosides. And purpurea glycosides A and B are present in the fresh leaves. By their hydrolysis, digitoxin and glucose, or gitoxins and glucose are obtained respectively. And hydrolysis of purpurea glycoside can take place by digipurpuridase enzymes which is present in the leaves, and digitoxin yields on hydrolysis digitoxygenine and 3-digitoxose. So if you see the reactions here, that purpurea glycosides A is there, and because of the enzymatic hydrolysis, it is giving the digipyridase enzymes is there, which is present in the leaves, so it will give the digitoxins and glucose. And again, if you see the hydrolysis of digitoxin, it will give the gitoxygenine and 3-digitoxose. Similarly, purpurea glycosides B on enzymatic hydrolysis will give the gitoxin and glucose, and this gitoxins on hydrolysis will give the gitoxygenines and 3-digitoxose. So you can see here the structures of digitoxygenine and digitoxins. So I was saying that this at the 17th positions, it consists the cardinolite consists the 5-membered lactone ring. That is the 5-membered ring, whereas in bufadinolites there is the 6-membered ring. It is the difference between the cardinolites and bufadinolite. And if you see the numbering of this way, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 and 17th. At the 17th positions there is the 5-membered ring, and if you see the structures of bufadinolite, in place of 5-membered ring there will be the 6-membered ring will be there, that is known as the bufadinolite. And 2 saponin glycosides are also present in this drug, known as the digitonine and gitonine. And other glycosides like odorosides H, gitaloxins, varodoxins, glucovarodoxins are also present in a minor amount. And if you talk about the some standard features of this drug, foraging organic matter should not more than 2%, loss on drying not more than 5%, acid insoluble as not more than 5%. And to identify the drug, we can use the Baljet test, legal test, Killer-Killiani test. And in Baljet test, you will take the thick sections of the leaf, and you have to add the sodium picrate reagent. Yellow to orange color will produce, which will indicate the presence of the glycosides. In legal test, we will take the glycoside sample and it will dissolve in the pyridine and sodium nitroprusside solution, and then it is made alkaline. Pink to red color will be produced. Whereas in Killer-Killiani test, we will take the glycosidic sample and we will dissolve in glacial acetic acid, to which we will add the drop of ferric chloride solution, followed by the additions of the sulfuric acids, and which forms the lower layer. A reddish brown color is seen in between the two liquids, and the upper layer becomes the bluish green in color. So these all are the identifications test of this drug. And if we see about the usage of drugs, so major use of this drug is it is cardiotonic drug, and it is useful in the treatment of the congestive heart failure. And these are the adulterants of the drugs like verbascum thapsus, primula vulgaris, symphytum officinale, inula conija. So in case of verbascum thapsus, it is also known as the mullein leaves, and these leaves are covered with large woolly branch candelabra trichomes. So branch candelabra trichomes. And if you see about the primula vulgaris, so it can be detected by the presence of long 8 to 9 cell covering trichomes in them. And symphytum officinale, which is also known as the comfrey leaves, these leaves contain multicellular trichomes forming hook at the top. Whereas inula Conija, which is also known as the Flugban spikenard, may be distinguished by their greater roughness, less divided margins, the teeth of which have horny points and odor when it is rubbed between the hand. So it is all about the pharmacognostic features of digitalis. And if you want for references, so you can use C.K. Kokate pharmacognosy textbook and Khandelwal practical pharmacognosy book for the microscopic features, and other books are also there. Any one book you can follow for further reading. So it is all about for the today class. So thank you very much for watching this video.